retrograde, and you know, my fellow fire sign, Aries and stuff like that, is in. And now we have Saturn going retrograde in 9 degrees Capricorn, it says, and it'll be retro up until September 6th at 2 degrees Capricorn. Now all those degrees can confuse and cause people to be like, I don't know what the fudge you is talking about with all this degrees and all this stuff or whatever. So we're not going to get so much into that kind of aspect of it. More in terms of, we're going to get into like what that means collectively now, which is interesting because although I'm jumping outside the collective, I'm in the collective, and my understanding of all this collective is expanding at this time. And although I understand that a lot of things are like inceptions into our lives, that I have to understand that from this level and point of time, it applies. And so in that regard, it's kind of like how I'm addressing it. Because when I think about a lot of these things, like, and what it can all mean, I think about my life at this time and how it all applies to myself. Because again, at the end of the day, anything that we share with anyone, anything that we share, period, we share it from our own viewpoint, perception, experience. So for me, I can see how collectively or astrologically Saturn going retrograde applies and has some level of truth. So, you know, Saturn is the Lord of karma, okay? And as much as I have been diving into my own understanding of karma and how karma plays, because I've been battling that out too with understanding, because it may seem, you know, externally that sometimes karma doesn't touch certain kind of people. You'd be like, well, that person was bad all their life and they seem to have the great life. But that's always looking at things as like the grass is always greener on the other end, you know what I mean? Instead of tending to your own lawn, so to speak. That doesn't mean that karma doesn't creep, for it is something that we understand collectively to exist on these lands. And you know what? Energy is real, man. So in that terms of understanding things, Saturn is the Lord of karma. And so there's a lot of karmic shit that's going to be playing out for our greater fix. You know what I mean? Because it's here as like the elderly, like not the elderly, like an elder. Like if you want to look at it like that, like the elder in our life that is like super uber wise and is telling you, all right, it's time to get like real with your own deals, these holy fields, because if you ain't gonna fix it, I'm gonna help you to fix it. And I'm not gonna be so pushy about it. I'm just gonna amplify the reasonings why, energetically wise, you should fix your karmic line. You know what I mean? And then there's a lot of things that many are experiencing at this time because they are the carriers of this karmic chain of ancestral like pain, or just, you know, stagnation for all these generations, or, you know, things that need to be worked out, never mind just your own. Sometimes we carry things, and when you try to understand, like when you say ancestry and the karma from that kind of pattern in a line, we are all ancestors, dude, at this time, regardless of your DNA. Because if we want to think about it, the source of creation, we all come from the same strand of DNA, you know, still, in some kind of way, even though it's gotten modified and changed and played around with, and, you know, intermingling with other things. It doesn't even matter, because at the end of the day, source brings us all to these lands. So yeah, so a huge focus on this time, you see, because if you want to think about Mercury that just went direct because it was retro, a lot of people tend to focus on that more and be like, oh my god, Mercury went retrograde, hide, you know, that kind of thing. Can't hide, but that's because it's an external energy, like a superficial one, an action-oriented one that shows itself on the external layers of our living. Saturn, now it inner understands that you gotta go in, man. And it's kind of like what I'm always saying, you gotta go in for your wins. So that's the only way to, you know, heal, feel, and deal, you know. So that's real. So that is something that, you know, we have to think about at these times. So now let's think about what Saturn has to teach us at this time. Quartz point, quartz point, crystal point. Yeah, I have one in my hand today. Anyways, so it's focusing on our words and our thoughts, guys. Now this is where positivity comes in a long way, and just, you know, thinking about, you know, what we release from our lips and our thought patterns and our waves that we marinate, that we choose to marinate. That is something that we are responsible for. No matter what happens outside our external doors, we are responsible for the energy that we bring to the table. You know what I mean? So if you have been down the path of just thinking in general, like on the negative in any kind of way, you know, down on yourself, you know, depressed, or just sending bad juju vibes to others in a line, well, Saturn's in your karma line. Oops, that's how true that was. So it's kind of like, you know, the circle of life, this loop of infinite time that comes back to either kiss you in your bum or bite you in your bum. You know what I mean? So think of Saturn as like this elder that's coming to like you with wisdom, with experience, with just awareness to what so much is about, more than you know. And it's here to help you to sow the seeds that you need for your growth. And if you've been so resistant to change and transformation, and just holding yourself accountable for your part in your, you know, translations and in your experiences in life. Like, if you haven't been holding yourself accountable for stuff, yo, it's gonna be this time. Now is the time, because you got to get into your line, and you got to also realize that there's a lot of stuff in this time, in this life, that you were born into, that that was put onto you, that you carry and may not even realize. And so here you are, like, fighting against, resisting change, transformation, because you have things conditioned to you and thought in some kind of way that's misaligned with you in every single kind of way. But here you are trying to go against the grain of what your body, what your mind, what your soul, what your spirit, what everything is trying to, your heart is telling you. You're resisting that. And so you're going against that because you're trying to follow into a line of a conditioning that was given to you over time. And you're just like, here, this is not working, guys. No shit, Sherlock. It's about how responsible have you been in the past. And it is not even just tying into this life, man. So just think about your stance in this life. Like, how much responsibility have you avoided? How many things have you not held yourself accountable for? How much victim can you possibly be? How much anger can you possibly hold for others? How much blame can you send another's way? Instead of looking at yourself and be like, okay, guys, I heal. I get it. Alright, I fudged up. You know, so there's going to be things that are going to come up. They're going to come up. And they're not going to come up for you to dwell in, to be all miserable in, to judge yourself on. You've done this already. And if you're still doing that, this is your time to now, in awareness, be like, wait a minute, maybe this time I'm being reminded of this feeling, of this thinking, of this line of seeing at this time to show me that it's not working for me. What wisdom can you bestow onto me at this time so that I may, you know, realign and master, you know, my life? Being responsible and holding myself accountable for the shit that I freaking want to do, what I want, the life I desire to have, the discipline, the actions that I need to take. Oh, and here we come, because now it just comes into the boundaries that we have yet to implement. And you know, you think of boundaries as limits, but it's not limits. It's the limit to the external environment that you allow to influence you. This be truth. Because if not, it's kind of like what I said the other day. When you give a hand, people take the freaking arm. Your whole body, they swallow you whole if you let them. And I realize that this is coming up for me too, in my own transformation. My growth center is my boundaries, especially when it comes to other people that are always demanding, commanding. It's like this line of accommodating and pleasing and doing what I feel is right because it is the right thing to do, but costing me. How can I be of any help to a whole if I'm costing me? So it's about like seeing with clarity and awareness what hasn't been working and what voice within you needs to speak with such clarity for your own dignity. I don't know, these are just things that, you know, like I speak and stuff. So it's about self-discipline at this time, guys. And this is gonna apply to major aspects in your life, whether it's in your career, whether it's in the relationships that you have, your finances. Finances are big, guys. The work that we are putting in, the time that we waste, the procrastination. So this is like kind of like being the ideal coordinator. I'm a coordinator in the real world, earthly world. I started off being a production coordinator once upon a time, you know. So this is the organization of life. Like if I want to think about the influence of Saturn in my life and how disciplined in my actions and my ways of being when it comes to jobs that I've had, and the perfectionist in me to execute with prestige everything that is required of me. It's now time to do for me, you see, this self-disciplining seed. So it's bringing up like whatever is stunting your growth. And this, again, guys, we have to bring into our awareness at this time that it may not just be from the effects of this life. So if there's certain things that you're like, dude, I can't see, then maybe it's time for you to go down a little deep and see. Maybe this is something else that you bring from another life, you see. These are the things. So, you know, I just speak of these things. So, again, Saturn going retrograde as of what? Yesterday? Today is, what, no, the 17th, 18th? Oh, shoot. What is today's date? I don't know. April something, okay? It's about the lessons that we need to learn. It's about being more mindful of our thoughts and our words. And to be mindful of the things that we feel and how we make others feel, too. And it's also to think about just the direction of the energy that we are inhabiting within our systems. Pluto is also going to be going retrograde very soon. I can talk about that too. So let me know if you want to hear that too. But anyways, I'm probably going to still talk about it anyways. Because, you know, what can I say? It's about patience, guys. Patience at this time. Because there are configurations astrologically configuring in our environment that are going to align beautifully like a freaking shrine. A lot of people are talking about this 2020 time, but either way, what can I say? What we do today for our now goes a long way, okay? Now. Our time is always now, okay? Our time is always now. So yeah, Mercury was all about do. Saturn is about restricting those do's and making you think about what you do before you do what you do, because what you do pushes out into this line, and we're trying to align with our shines. You know what I mean? At this time, so put into practice what it is that you're learning. It's not about talking about it; it's about being about it. It's about knowing about it. It's one thing, and I was very I haven't really went into it, of something new that's expanding in me. It's about this idea of belief. We can believe whatever it is that we want to believe, but let's make sure that we know. Because there's a difference in our know. You can believe whatever you want. Believe it. You can believe. But if you don't understand and know what it is that you believe, or that you think about what it is that you're marinating, creating into existence, please. So let's be mindful of this too, okay? Of these seeds that we bleed and breed at this time. Oh my God, this drugs. Yeah, so anywho, the things that we do. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, share, and handle with care. And there's a lot of things that I'm working on at this time, but Saturn going retro at this time is telling me to slow down so that I can do what I need to do with clarity, boo. Because just like Sagittarius, we're so impulsive and we like to just do. And then my moon in Pisces, dreamy as can be, can see the fantasy right before me, jumps without even blinking. Yeah, I need the chills. I need to go into my rising Virgo and display some, you know, of my own patience and grace, so that I may execute with precision. Namaste. Have a beautiful, glorious every day.